important video for you today, all you route setters and home wall setters out there. Setting for kids.
Very important.
Very important. We're in the middle of a set, so there's going to be some noise going on, so please bear with us while we show you some tips and tricks. Maybe you learn something new, maybe we learn something new, who knows? But don't forget to like and subscribe.
Help us reach our goal of 500 subs, that would be superb, and we'll see you inside. What's up? All right, so I've got some green jugs set for the small wall here. This is our 10-foot wall at the gym, so this is perfect for our kids. You can already see in my hold selection, I've got some cool looking holds. I've got a gator, I've got a shark, both important for our gym since we're close to the beach and close to all the marshes. So very enticing for kids is getting those like cool looking holds on the wall. The gator is gonna be my start. Then we're gonna go into these coastal buckets by, I can't remember I think it's Rock Candy. And then we're gonna move them straight up the wall, pretty easy movement. We're shooting for like a VB. One of the things that's important to remember when you're setting for kids is making the start accessible. You might make all the moves super close, but if you put the start hold too high, all your 5 and 6-year-olds are gonna have to climb into it. So I tend to shoot kind of low with my starts for the youngsters. I gotta get a different bolt. Very easy two-handed start for a child there. And let's move them up into the right.
When you're thinking about like for a kid, John, you're just getting them to the top of the wall, really?
Yeah, I want to create interesting movement and create strong climbers later, which is going to require less challenging them with their arm strength necessarily, but more with their technical movement, keeping their feet on the wall, moving their hands left and right, and not matching every hold. So that's kind of what I'm going through with my head. My spacing's a little bit different too. There's some good easy tips for how to control your spacing when you're working with kids. Cool, so I think that does it for the problem. I'm gonna try and shrink myself down into a child-sized climber and see how I feel about each move and where the feet are. It's really tough to like kind of shrink your perspective down to accommodate for shorter climbers, but setting for kids is a great way to make sure that your problems are equitable for adults as well. If you can set for someone who's super short, chances are you can set for someone who's 5'1" or 5'2", and still make an equitable problem for them. So this is a really good exercise if you have the opportunity to set for kids. You might have seen me overextending and trying to touch the holds with my elbow. This is how I'm measuring the distance of a shorter climber. If I can reach something with my elbow, chances are someone with a shorter grasp or wingspan can reach it as well.
Amy, what did you just say?
Sometimes setting easier routes are extremely difficult.
Oh, dang.
No safety glasses.
Yep. my whole shoot. Messed up, guys. I forgot my glasses. I'm sorry. Nick, so responsible.
I keep mine in my belt. It's the first thing I grab when I'm right about to step up to the wall. So John just set a VB on that section. I'm gonna set another VB on this section right here, which is, you know, kind of difficult, but not really. And I already got my holds laid out, so gonna try and create some interesting movement for a child, definitely outside of my comfort zone. John is a lot more skilled in that realm. So we will see how this goes. I like how you did there. I also like this hold, a nice two-hand. I mean,
Kids can do sit
kids
start.
can do a sit start. Well, then I'll give them this
We'll
one.
call it a V1.
A V1.
A
Look at this right
pre-K one. And plus you got the only overhung part of this wall, so.
I'll give them a foot there and there when I get to it.
So those look like some pretty small buckets.
Small buckets. These are actually really small for my hand, but for, you know, shrink this down and they're gonna be pretty, it's like, I would call it a jug. I would call this a jug for me too.
Sure,
It's
sure.
pretty-
Smaller hands
Yeah.
probably make easy grasp on that.
And that's something to think about when you're setting for a younger, a kid essentially. Is they're gonna have small hands, but like, what would be a small foot or a small hand for an adult is a jug for a child. So keeping that in your mind when setting, which is one of the reasons why I chose these holds, because like these are kind of small, but I was like, for a kid's route, it's the perfect. They're gonna love it.
Awesome.
They're gonna love it. I hope. That's not too far away.
What'd you have the ISO on?
Like 360.
Oh, okay.
That should be good, and then I'll give them a couple more feet. So this.
Create that triangle of truth.
Triangle of truth.
That's generally how most problems start. I bet you could go in one.
Right here.
Yeah.
That was where my instinct told me. Boom, boom, boom. I was setting for someone who is about 4 feet. Boom, 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 boom.
Nice. Let's see you climb it now. Climb it like you're small.
Small.
Nice, Nick.
I feel like I need to put a foot out there. Yeah.
All right, so we're kind of doing a dihedral theme with all of our sets tonight. You'll see people setting in the dihedral back there. We actually have a micro dihedral here in the small kids area. So I'm gonna ask a lot of our kids climbers, they're gonna have hands up the left side and they're gonna have feet out to the right. It's great, this span of this panel to this wall is perfect for a kid to lay back into. So we're gonna go great hands up this way, and we're just gonna encourage them to put their feet out that way by putting holds up there. As always, we're gonna start the handhold low. This is pretty low for even a kid. You can imagine they could reach up to here pretty easily. So I'm gonna move this up just a bit. I put a little bit of a tilt on it so it's not perfectly vertical, so they can still kind of pull hard on it, and a little bit more security for the munchkins. Amy's like, what do you think? This is a pretty easy theme to understand. Basically, I just created one artificial rail that goes all the way up. You could fill in these gaps in your mind with yellow holds if you wanted, but essentially I've just created a yellow rail that goes up to the left side of the dihedral. I'm gonna put some foot chips over that way, and that's gonna allow our climber to lay back and climb up the wall kind of like this. Another way to add value on your kids wall or setting for kids is I'm gonna use feet that can also be used as great crimps. Both of these feet here are gonna be easy feet to climb on, but also really easy to use for hands as well, so the kids can get creative and still climbing this section of the wall outside of my beta, but still they're climbing. And technically I have enough feet where I'm at here, but I'm really liking the pattern that I've struck. In fact, actually, so I basically just skipped a T-nut each time, and my climbers can be able to get all the way up to the top laid back on this. And just that easy, right? Oftentimes, when setting for an adult, we have to be really clever with how we're gonna challenge them. Our adult climbers are gonna be thinking very hard. They go to bed at night thinking about your problem, trying to figure it out. But the kids, you know, they just wanna get to the top of the wall, and we want them to learn while they do it, right? So it's kind of our job as the setter to not necessarily trick them into learning, but setting something that's fun enough and engaging enough that they're gonna wanna climb it, and that has a lesson somewhere installed in it. So that's my perspective. Hope you got something out of the video, and we'll see you next week.